Manchester United won, Southampton won. Literally, the game's just finished. First disappointment of this season. Let's just get into it. So early on, James Ward-Prowse had a free kick that caught us out. De Gea saved it. For the first few minutes, we were shaky. And I'll be honest, like some people say, oh, you've just got an agenda. You've got an agenda against certain players. I do have an agenda against De Gea and Martial, I'm not going to lie. I really, really dislike them as players. Sorry, I just do. They weren't at fault today for the loss, but I just get semi-tilted when I see them on the pitch, I'm not going to lie. So you've got 3 minutes of real shakiness because David De Gea seems to have PTSD against certain players. It's like after the World Cup, it's like a player gets in his head or a scenario gets in his head and he just starts flapping and he doesn't come out of his line and he's David the Glued, is stuck to his line. And the first 3 minutes, I thought, oh my God, here we go. Luckily, right, we settled in. There was an okay piece of play where Bruno had a decent free kick. Lindelof, who's just shit in the air. Like, when I see Lindelof De Gea, I'm just like, oh my God. Lindelof should have scored. Cavani would have scored that if he was in that area. Martial wasn't in the area. It was Lindelof shocking in the air and missed it. And after that, we actually had quite a few good set pieces just with Paul finishing. Again, just lack that absolutely clinical finisher. Greenwood is clinical, but he's a young kid, isn't he? You can't put too much pressure on a young kid. So we were doing all right. There was a few balls that Pogba pinged who I thought played really well. That when you have a runner, when we've got runners, it looks so dangerous, man. Like, so dangerous. Pogba can just ping and find that runner. It only happened once or twice, but when he finds them, it's like, okay. But man, Fred's passing today. Like, you've got... What bugged me, I guess, about the setup was for 20 odd minutes, it didn't feel like we were really stopping Southampton. It felt more like they were just failing their attacks rather than we were breaking it up or nicking play or setting any traps or anything. And Fred's passing, especially his long passing, it's just a nightmare. It's absolutely shocking. Like, he's all right when he's kind of doing box to box, breaking up play and dishing it to someone. But when Matic is kind of almost behind him, playing even deeper, it's almost like we were playing a back five. We were almost playing a back five, pretty much, with Matic and Fred. They just sat so deep that, yeah, it was almost a back five. And, Ollie's by now should realise that Matic Fred is just not good. It's not a title winning midfield. I don't care. It's not a title winning midfield. So, okay, you've got this setup where there's no runners. Like, where's Dan James? People laugh at Dan James. I rate Dan James. I think he has a unique set of skills that he will bring to the table. He's not a world beater, but he's going to offer something defensively. He's going to be able to break away, and he's a runner which just pulls people around. I'm not saying if we start Dan James, we win that match. Not at all. But I'm just saying we had no runners, and we picked Martial, who just didn't look fit, did he? And I think you've just got to pick your fit players that have played pre-season. I think Martial should not have started that game at all. Just a complete lack of runners, and it was just pretty much an absolutely nightmarish first half. The goal, yeah, Bruno was fouled, but to be honest, when Greenwood went down holding his face, it was such a light touch, and the ref probably thought, oh, Bruno's doing the same, and then they played on, and it was a big deflection. I'm not going to blame De Gea. The ball was going in one way, and it actually classed as a Fred own goal. It was that much of a big deflection, so I'm not going to blame De Gea. There was nothing he could do, really. I just dislike that whole Matic, Fred almost becoming a back five, and it's like you have James there as a runner. You could have had Sancho on from the start. You could have had even a Diallo type of play. You could have put someone else in there. You could have had Van der Beek, and it's like if Scott McTominay is injured, then the person you're replacing, you need the cogs. You need as many of the same cogs each week, I feel like. And if you're replacing Scott McTominay, who isn't the defensive midfielder, he's the guy that can break free, get forwards a little bit, play those passes. I'm then you put Van der Beek in there. You don't put Matic in there, because if you put Matic in there, the whole thing gets switched up and it's like a back five. So we just looked really, really poor without Scott McTominay. And even with Scott McTominay, our midfield is it's not a title winning midfield. I'm not saying we couldn't win a title, but it would be more of a sort of winning the title through brute force, not really to do with the midfield, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it was just really, really poor. There was a little section where Bruno started to try drive the team on. He did. He was on the right-hand side. He overlapped Wan-Bissaka, who was busting a goal, and then Wan-Bissaka passed it to him, fizzed it across, then Pogba got the touch, and we scored the goal. And for 10 minutes, we were like getting back into the game, getting back on top of the game, and I thought, okay, yeah, we can do something here. We brought on some subs. We brought on Sancho. Maybe a little bit later, we might have brought on someone else, and we kind of lost our way. Just never really got going, never found the passes. Just, it just didn't seem to work at all. I don't know. I can't remember the bench, to be honest. Sorry about that. But I don't know if Cavani was even on the bench. He's only just started training. But, bro, a 50% fit Cavani is better than a 80% fit Martial. I'm sorry, guys. I know there's Martial FC and everyone loves him. And on his day, I love him too. But, bro, he's not. He ain't it, mate. And, yeah, from the 73rd minute, we just completely lost our way and we were just hanging on. It was like corner, free kick, breaking up. We could never get anything going. And then you're bringing on Lingard, and you might say, well, Lingard did really well at West Ham. Yeah, it's a different environment, different setup, different mentality. I like, we're trying to win a game with Matic and Lingard. Like, you might go, well, Lingard's not that bad. Yeah, but that's not the point, is it? So, yeah, we just seemed to lose our way. Couldn't get any attacks going. Pogba had nobody to really hit with the balls, with the runners. We just petered out, and I'm just like, bro, it's not a ollie out. It's not a this is the worst result ever. We're technically 1 point ahead against City, and you would still say, well, City can win the league. But it is a bit bloody concerning that you're playing Southampton, who are probably going to be fighting for relegation. And we're sat here going, how do we break them down? And we've had the coach, Ollie, for so long, and we still can't break teams down. And I don't think, maybe if Bruno pops off and has a fantastic game, we can break someone down, or Leeds give us a ton of space, you can break somebody down. But the picking Matic, Fred, almost a back five, with no runners ain't it. It clearly wasn't it. We just never got going. And I'm telling you, like, it sounds ridiculous after like basically one draw to say we're not going to win the league, because you can win. We might win every single game, but that midfield ain't going to win a league. If you had to play that midfield of Matic, Fred, that's never winning a midfield, bro. That's never winning a title. I thought Pogba played really, really well. He had some shimmies, he had some shots, he had some decent passes. He just had nobody to aim for, and you could see it in the 70th minute mark. He kind of was like, yeah, this ain't happening, Chief. Honestly, again, apologies for not checking the bench. I don't know if Dan James was on there, but we needed, I feel like when you start a season, you just want to start off with the fittest players you've got, the freshest players, and you just go for it. It doesn't even matter too much who they are, within reason. You've just got to be ready, and a few of those players on that pitch didn't look ready for that match. It looked like a pre-season game, and it's cost us points. So really disappointing. Yeah, disappointing. Well, I'm probably just going to go watch Chelsea Man City. Yeah, that's the match review. Disappointing day, Robbie.